we on?
Yep.
Okay. So, Jamie, this is a video that I'm doing. I'm going to try to start doing this. We'll see how well this works. As we all know, sometimes I run out of time and I have to leave more of a list. I'll still be communicating through the notebook a lot of the times, but what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to do a formal lesson that Micah could sit out into the living room and hopefully watch on YouTube, supposing that it will upload correctly. And then hopefully you can work with her on some of the things that we go over in this video. So today we're talking about a few things, but first I wanted to go over the day of the week like we typically do. So today, Micah, is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. And what we know about Tuesday, if we look up here where our heart is, Monday comes before Tuesday, so yesterday would have been Monday, and Wednesday, which is over here, comes after Tuesday. So we're right here on Tuesday. December is the month, and as we know about December is going to be leading into the winter time. So if you remember when we drew the seasons up here, here's winter, and you wrote that the trees have no leaves. If you look outside, you'll notice that the trees have lost a lot of their leaves. The other thing that you wrote was animals hibernate, and that is very true. There are some animals that are in the world that are hibernating right now. A lot of our squirrels are not here because it's still somewhat warm and they're collecting some of the acorns that they can find. So we are entering winter time. As we also know, today is the 3rd day of December, and the year is 2019. So the first assignment that I want Micah to do today is a read aloud assignment. I wrote out some sentences here for her to read aloud. All of these words have come from the box here. There may only be one word on there that she is not familiar with, but all of the words have come out of the box here. I want her to go over these words as well, and she can do this on her own in the kitchen and just make a pile of what she knows and what she doesn't know. So I'm going to do an example of one of these sentences. And I'm going to do number 1. And I'm going to write it up here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to point to each one of these words that's on the board, and Micah, I want you to say out loud so Jamie can hear you what that word is. So here's the first word. So let's go over this. Yes, I can play with my cat. If that's what you said, you are correct. You may have noticed this little sign here. This is a comma. This is going to tell us to take a breath. So we're not going to say, yes, I can play with my cat. We're going to say, yes, comma, I can play with my cat. And do you remember what this right here is? If you said a period, you would be correct. So, hang on. Sorry about that. So we're going to go over one more. There's another sentence on your page. I'm not going to say which one it is. I'm going to let you figure it out. But you're going to see a mark that looks something like that or like that. Do you remember what that mark means? This mark right here? If you said a question mark, you're correct. So we see this when somebody in a story is asking a question. So can you read this? can you come outside? Question mark. So we're asking a question. Can that person come outside? And sometimes you may see a sentence that might look like this. Mom, can you come outside? Question mark. And that is asking a question. And that's when you're going to see that question mark. So see if you can find the sentence on your read aloud here of which one has the question mark. And if you can find it, circle that sentence. The next thing that we're going to go over today is the first page in the first grade test prep book. And what I'm basically just going to do is I'm going to go over what capital letters are, and then I want her to try to complete this page. It's okay if things aren't 100% correct. I'm just trying to see where she's at. And once she completes the page, we'll have Stephen go over it later on this evening just to kind of see. So I'm going to do the first one as an example. It says, Mr. Smith works there. So we need to talk about when you're talking about somebody's name. So Micah, when we're talking about somebody's name, like let's look at your name. I can write Micah two different ways. I can write it like this, and I can write it like this. This right here is a capital letter. And this right here is a lowercase letter. When we're talking about somebody's name, we need to use a capital letter because it is a proper noun. So when we see this, when we talk about Levi, we want to use a capital letter. When we talk about Jamie, we want to use a capital letter. When we talk about Alicia, we want to use a capital letter. When we talk about Stephen, we want to use a capital letter. So anytime you see a name of somebody, we want to use a capital letter. So in this first sentence, when we're talking about Mr. Smith is somebody's name. So we're going to have a capital M-R for Mr. and a capital S-M-I-T-H for Smith. This here is capital and this here is capital. Because it's a name, you want to have it capital. So in this book here, we want to talk about what are some things that need capital letters. Another thing that needs capital letters, if we look up here, are days of the week. So whenever you see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we capitalize those. So when we write the date, we always capitalize Tuesday, or we'll say Monday, or we'll say Sunday. And if you remember, this first word is always capitalized. The days of the week are always capitalized. So I want you to try to do this worksheet. Another thing would be months. So you remember when we go Tuesday, December, our December. All the months are going to be capitalized. So December will be capitalized. September will be capitalized. April will be capitalized. Any of the months, that first letter is always capitalized. So try that and see how you do. Jamie, you may want to go over this just a little bit more before she starts the worksheet, just to kind of emphasize it, just to see how well she does. And that's pretty much all that I want her to do. But I'm going to have Stephen hop on here really fast and kind of go over some math problems that he may want Micah to do as well. I would suggest some addition and subtraction problems.
Hi, Micah. I didn't know I was doing this until 10 seconds ago. So what we have been working on so far is double-digit addition and subtraction. So you start with 23 minus 11. We just got to start focusing on the ones column. So we do this section first. So 1 minus 3 would give you 2.
It's actually 3 minus 1.
3 minus 1 would give you 2. Then we work on the tens column. 2 minus 1 would give you 1. So the answer to that minus or subtraction would be 12.
Do you
Same.
have some problems that you'll want to write out and have her do?
Sure, I will have a page of problems when we get done here. Same thing with addition. If you do 79 plus 11, we have been working that we do the ones column first, and it helps her if she kind of breaks it up. So 9 plus 1 would be 10. You drop the 0, 1 goes up top. Then when you get to the tens column, you add them all up. So 7 plus 1 plus 1 would be 9.
Does she actually understand how to do that? Because that seems like an awfully high number, maneuvering the tens and the
We have
ones.
been working on that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll make them easier problems for the sheet.
I would make them a little bit easier, but yes.
It
So
is
we
what
get that.
we have been working on.
What about some number identification? How is she doing with that? Is there anything you want to go over with that using the caterpillar over there?
She can identify most of them.
Okay, so maybe she can just identify some numbers. I think that that's kind of what all we need to do. We'll go ahead and get that sheet for her to do, and then that will be for her to do tomorrow. And then, here, I'll just have you hold that back up there. Hopefully I can upload this. If I can't, well then we'll have to figure out a different way. But hopefully that'll kind of keep her busy. She can watch this while you're off doing something else. And that way she can kind of pause it and do whatever. I would also continue on with the review pages in the sight words book too, like you guys were doing. We did complete some of those this evening. And I would just keep working with her. If she wants to play the dog game again and feed the dog the letters, or the, not the letters, but the words, I would go ahead and do that as well, because that's a good thing for her just to kind of keep seeing that and being repetitive with it.